So why in the heck are so many players so consistent? You watch them hit ball after ball and they're all in a string. The divots are in the exact same spot. It's ball first contact every single time. Their head looks like it's frozen in space. It's perfectly still and stable. Where you may feel like your swing at times gets a little all over the place, the consistency goes out the door, and it's really tough to hit several divots exactly the same. Well, I'm going to teach you one of the real secrets on how to create that consistency in your own game. And let me just show you how this can work. Now, if I do this properly and I get my body set up in a certain way to make this easy, I can rotate back and through, and you'll notice my head stays very still and very stable. That allows my eyes to have much better hand-eye coordination and to have a lot better proprioception. And I have 3 tees set up here. And if I can clip these tees without hitting the turf, then I know that I have really good consistent contact and I can control my low point. So that's the second piece of this. So if I do this correctly, I'll be able to clip these tees just like that without actually hitting the turf. Now that's not anything special that I'm doing. It's just getting set up in the correct way, making it easy for my body to perform with a lot of control. I'm gonna go over that in this video. Now I've got a lot of awesome drills coming out this year that are gonna help you to improve all aspects of your game. But if you don't subscribe, you're gonna miss out. You won't be notified when those are released. So hit that subscribe button right now, click the like button, that really helps me out, and post your comments below. I would absolutely love to hear from you. All right, so let's go over exactly what we did here. Well, I'm gonna start out by doing that same drill with you, and it's got a few steps to this. The very first step here is as I set up to this golf ball, I have to get my spine tilted in a way to where I can rotate in the backswing, rotate in the downswing, and that spine angle is going to stay pretty consistent. Now that spine is going to rotate. I can rotate around my spine, but my spine angle isn't shifting or swaying or moving around a lot. It's going to stay pretty stable the entire swing. That's what I call the stable fluid spine. And what this means is, as I set up this golf ball, if I take my shirt buttons and my belt buckle here, and I put this club in front of it to kind of represent where my spine angle is, I'm going to tilt my body away until that would kind of hit the inside of my left leg. So my spine angle is tilted away just a little bit at address. That sets me up in a position to where now, as I go to the top of the swing, I can easily rotate to the top without moving my spine. Notice how I can also rotate to the top and now my head doesn't move. What happens if I start to maybe set up with my weight straight up and down, or even favoring my right side, and I get that reverse pivot? When I get a reverse pivot, look how it tilts my eyes. Now all of a sudden my eyes are being tilted this way. I lose a little bit of my hand-eye coordination, my proprioception. My spine angle is kind of moving around there. It's a lot more to time up. It's just a little bit more difficult doing it that way. I'm not saying you couldn't play good golf doing it that way. I'm just saying it's a lot harder to play good golf, consistent golf doing it that way. So I'd like to get a little bit of tilt away, get that tilt locked in, spine angle on my left leg, rotate to the top, keeping the head very still, and then from there, you get a little weight shift to the left, which kicks your spine a little bit more tilted. So at impact, I'm gonna be a little bit more tilted than that, but notice my head didn't really move a lot as I did that. So I can get this little shift to the left, but my eyes and my head didn't move. If you watch a lot of great players, basically, I shouldn't say a lot, every single great player, as they come down and hit that golf ball, their eyes are gonna be behind the golf ball. If I start to do this, I'm gonna be coming over the top, chopping down into it. So that's what's gonna allow me, setting up with the tilt, rotating the top, steady head, keeping that tilt. As I come down the downswing, I get a little weight shift to the left, but again, my eyes stay steady. As I put that all together, that can be very consistent, and it's easy to hit the ground in the same spot. Now there, I'm purposely clipping a tee. I'm not touching the turf, but I could do the exact same thing when I get a golf ball here, and now I'm just gonna swing down and hit a little bit more turf. So I'm gonna hit a few shots here, and we're gonna notice where my divots start. I won't see a lot of them in front of and behind the golf ball. I'm gonna see them be very consistent in front of this golf ball every single time. So let's go ahead and make a little tally there. This is kind of the line that my ball is lined up on, and we'll see where this divot ends up in relationship to that line. Notice my spine angle and my head stay nice and stable throughout the entire swing. All right, so just got a little small divot, brush the turf in front of that one. Let me take a little bit more of a divot. With a long iron, you're not gonna take a big divot. I actually hit that one really well, but I'm gonna do a little extra. I'm gonna hit down a little bit more just so you can see it easier. There we go. Hit that one perfect, right down the middle of the fairway. You can see it roughing it up with this 4-iron, this longer iron. Let me go ahead and try to hit another one. On this one, notice my head in both the backswing and the downswing is not going to be moving around very much. Yeah, and again, right on the exact same line, a little bit of a divot, brush to the turf in front. Now as I switch over to say a wedge, let me go with a pitching wedge here. The exact same principle applies. My tilt is going to be a little away at address. As I go to the top, I'm going to be staying tilted away. And because this club is a little more loft, as it hits the ground, it's going to take a little bit more of a divot. There we go, but we see that's in front of that line on all those examples. Follow those tips, you're going to be a lot more consistent with your entire bag, from a wedge all the way to the driver. So where do we go from here? Now I got started on this stable fluid spine in this video, but how do you really ingrain that? Well, I've got a couple more tricks to this that if you get these down, it's going to be so much easier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a preview of a video that has some of the real secrets of the stable fluid spine. All you need to do is click the card that pops up on your screen or the link down below in the description. If you don't see those cards, just click the link and you'll get instant access to that video. We'll start to really ingrain this in your golf game so that you can be dead consistent day in and day out. Let's go and get started. So what is it that allows us to have consistency in the golf swing? And what is it that allows that consistency to fall apart and create some bad rounds? That's what we're going to talk about in this video today. Let's go ahead and get started. Everything that happens in the golf swing is initially dictated by what happens with the spine. So if we're looking at a skeleton, you know, my spine's in the center of my body and everything else in my body is attached to my spine. So my shoulders are attached to my spine, my arms attached to my shoulders, and then my arms are going to be actually swinging the club. Now when I see players that are really struggling, those guys that are hitting it out in the woods right, they're hitting in the left, then they have a few good holes, what's happening is their spine angle is changing. As they go to the top of the swing, maybe they have a reverse pivot, spine's angled back, falling back to the right, but there's a lot of inconsistency in that. And what happens is, as good athletes as we all are, the number one fundamental in golf, correct, keep it nice and stable, but fluid, we're going to be able to hit those good clean shots time and time again. And that's what I'm going to show you in this series of videos.
Henrik Stenson, top 5 in both driving distance and accuracy. Rory McIlroy here, playing some of the best golf that anybody's ever played, and you can see just how stable.